观众朋友们，大家好！今天我们有幸邀请到了 Foothills 的财务执行副总裁 Jarvis 先生，他将带领我们一起走进 Foothills。Hi, Mr. Jarvis. It's really glad to have you with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So to begin, can you give us a little background on the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So Foothills Exploration, publicly traded company. Our ticker's FTXP. We trade on the OTCQB currently. We're based out of Denver, Colorado. We're an oil and gas exploration and production company. Our focus and our expertise is in the acquisition and development of oil and gas properties.
And why are you geographically focused on the Rockies?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, and it's two parts, right? For one, the management team, the technical team, the operating team, we've all been operating in the area for quite some time. So we're very familiar, with the assets and the oil and gas assets up there. And secondly, when you take a look at the trends right now going on in the United States, everybody's chasing, the Permian Basin, we call it Permania, or the Delaware Basin. So what that's done is create a tremendous opportunity for good quality, underdeveloped, utilized assets in the region, and we can pick it up for attractive valuations.
And from macro perspective, what is on the gas and oil market?
Yeah, I get that question quite a bit. It's fascinating. This year has been a fascinating year, not just for the oil markets, but the natural gas markets. But before I get into the natural gas markets, I'll discuss a little bit about the oil markets. And it's been all over the news, right? So OPEC and non-OPEC producers extending their production cuts until March of next year, 2018. The glut of oil that we have seen is finally starting to dissipate. In fact, when you take a look at global supplies, we're right around the 5-year average now, slightly above, not including the United States. So we believe, the second half of the year, going into next year, we think oil prices have a firm bias to it. I think oil prices could certainly get to $60 a barrel. But the other fascinating component in the energy space is the natural gas market. For the first time since 1957, the United States is going to be a net exporter of natural gas. And the reason behind that is record LNG exports. 20% of all exports now LNG. Record exports to Mexico. Their nat gas is declining. Their production is declining. But their manufacturing base is really ramped up of late. So, we're seeing a lot of exports to Mexico. So when you look at the United States, we'll probably produce about 71 BCF a day. But we're going to be using and exporting about 76, 77. So we're at a deficit. So it's a fascinating market. We've been in a bear market with natural gas for 9 years. I think the fundamentals are finally turning.
So how do these views impact your company?
Yeah, it has a profound impact. I mean, the obvious one is profits, right? So prices go up in gas and oil, our profits are going to go up, certainly. But I think it's also, too, how we position our portfolio of assets, right? The trend really and the focus really has been in oil in the United States, especially with the proliferation of shale.
Yeah.
But when we look at what's going on in the LNG market, they're going to build another 4 more LNG terminals by the 2020. That will make 5. The United States will probably be one of the biggest exporters of LNG. So when you have that perspective in mind, we want to build a balanced portfolio of oil assets, high quality, long life reserves. But we also want to do that with nat gas. So we're trying to balance the two, between natural gas and oil.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you please tell us a little bit background about your background and the management team at Foothills?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my background, I've been on Wall Street for 20 years. I started with a firm called Advis, a regional firm out of Hartford, Connecticut. I was a sell-side institutional energy analyst there. Merrill Lynch acquired us in 2005. At that time, I actually went to Boston to be on their regulated option and futures desk as their natural gas, oil and natural gas analyst. While I was there, we did hedges for the Canadian government, Monsanto. So it was a great experience. And then in August 2006, I started my own company called Caprock Risk Management. I did that for 11 years where I did hedging, I did finance, reserve-based lending. And then in March of this year, I decided to go full-time with Foothills. And it was really an easy decision. It was a no-brainer because during those 11 years when I was at Caprock, I had worked with all the management team, technical team at Foothills. And so we all had, prior experience, 10 or 15 years working together.
Yeah.
And so when the opportunity was right, we came together as one company, and we're very excited about our future.
Yeah. So if I were a potential investor or my audience, how could I find more information about your company?
Yeah, certainly. You could go to foothillspetro.com. We certainly have an investor relations site. You can learn more about the company, and we've got a bunch of other good stuff on that site.
Yeah. So my last question is there any short-term or long-term goals for the company?
Yeah, I think in the short term, I mean, we're looking to continue our aggressive acquisition and roll-up strategy in the Rockies. Like I said before, we're seeing tremendous amount of opportunities, good assets, good quality assets that are no longer core assets. These majors are selling at deep discounts. That opens a door for us to come in as they chase the Permian Basin, they chase the Delaware Basin. We have quality assets that we're looking at. We have a lot of opportunities to grow the company rather quickly.
Thanks so much for the interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me.